designing actually. When someone tell me design a PowerPoint, I'm like, no, leave the presentation for me, you design. So maybe this time I'll be able to actually help in designing. First, guys, I want to ask, is there a lot of noise around me? Since until now we don't have electricity, so I'm on the balcony. So I really hope it's not too noisy. Finger crossed. So actually, since we're 5:44, we have around 20 minutes. So I'm gonna try to be also very concise and be super direct, because Nathan already covered a lot of stuff. So at first, I just want to give a little bit of introduction about me. My name is Mariam. I'm Palestinian, but I live in Lebanon. I give a lot of training and workshops about public speaking, about giving emotional speeches, how to present to entrepreneurs and to business to get grants and get investors. So it is something I've been doing for a couple of years now, and almost on a monthly basis, I give talks and speeches about different topics. So the first question I want to ask you guys is, when you present, just imagine with me, don't we get this huge amount of nervousness? I'm not calm, I don't want to do this. Like, you just go there and you staring at the audience and you're like, okay, how am I supposed to do this? Who else got this vibe when they go up on stage to give talks and speeches? Who have this feeling? Just can raise a hands up. All right. So for me, it was something I used to suffer from. Whenever I go up on stage, I used just to stare at the people and I get so nervous. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So the first part that made me a little bit more confident, which Nathan already covered, is actually having a good content, which is a good presentation that is not too complicated, that doesn't have a lot of elements and this kind of stuff. So the other thing that I want to tackle first is the content. Your content of your slide should be very direct, it should be very simple, and it should be short. As we viewed in Nathan's example, if you have a PowerPoint slide that have so much elements in it, no one actually will try to follow up on the slide and they can't know where to look. So they won't actually look at you and they won't listen to you. So the first and most importantly, to make the content super, super simple. Another thing is actually we took also at UPG to include the emotions, because each one of us experience so many things. Even if we are in different countries, we all experience so much similar experiences. So always once we start presenting, we should then be like, hey guys, my name is Mariam. Today I'll be giving a public speaking session. No, let's try to relate. Let's try to connect with our audience and start with something so generic that everyone can relate to. So let's say I'm going to present my initiative. I want to get a grant for it. So I want to go and start talking, hey, I designed this because I have this need in my community and I want to solve this. This won't grab the attention. The introduction and the ending, always they have to be the bomb. They have to grab this attention of the audience. So instead of me going and saying this boring old introduction, hey, my name is Mary, I'm going to be talking about this topic, I'll start with a short story, something so emotional. For example, something I often very use in my presentations is a story that I witnessed that actually is still in my mind since I was little. There were children in the street, running in between those cars, risking their life. And I used to stare at them, and I always wondered why. They ran, jumped on a truck full of green beans, and when they had it, they ran back to the sidewalk to eat what I assumed is their lunch. A child having to risk their life just because this little amount of vegetables is not acceptable. For example, this is a story that I experienced, and every time I say it, people can imagine in their head what situation was like. Little children, 5 years old, 7 years old, just risking their life in a highway just to grab some vegetables to eat. So when you're gonna start, always start with something very catchy. It can be a sad story, it can be a quote, it can be something funny. It can be anything in which you can interact with your audience. And what else? Yes. So I don't know how many of you is familiar with the term the elevator pitch, but it is something really, really nice to prepare ahead. So the elevator pitch is, imagine that you're gonna meet a CEO of Facebook, for example. Now it's called Meta, and you have 1 minute to present your idea to get the funding. So you have something called an elevator pitch. Elevator pitch, you include, of course, a very short but interesting introduction. What's your product or what's your service or what's your idea? What make it special? What's in the market that the already pre-existing market for it? And how's the impact of it? So elevator pitch in 1 minute, you include so much elements to explain to the person that you are presenting to this idea. So something I really like to tell people to prepare for when they have presentation is the elevator pitch. If you are able to present the whole idea in 1 minute, whatever people can ask you about the idea, you'll be able to answer because you get it in the back of your head. You know exactly what you're going to talk about. The final element is being interactive. Being interactive inside a PowerPoint or a presentation or while giving even speeches, it doesn't have to be by asking the audience direct questions. It's very nice when we can interact and get back and forth, but as we know, sometimes we have time limitation. So interactivity will be about the next part, which will be our body language, our tonality, and even the eye contact, which Nathan already talked about a bit. So the first thing to know, how many of you know the dinosaur Barney, the violet big dinosaur? We saw it when we were children. It's a cartoon. So Barney have these tiny hands all the time like that, if you can remember. So people, when they get nervous, they make the Barney move. The Barney move while I'm presenting, I sit like this and I have my hands. So the data show that this increase in sales between 2010 2000, and we keep our hands so stiff next to us. And this actually show that we're not comfortable, we're very nervous, and it's not professional posture to have. So instead doing a Barney pose, what we can do is to do a Superman pose. Shoulder to the back, stand up high, and if you're on the stage, you can like have the V shape, leg shape. When you stand like that, your posture immediately you gain some confidence because once you have your back like extended like that and you walk, you feel the confidence in you. So usually a lot of celebrities, if you notice when they talk, a lot of politicians when they go up on the stage, they always have their back like this. You never see someone slouching or someone having their arms next to them, seeming that they are protective. They are freely talking. They are using and getting to know the space around them and using it in a way where they can grab the attention of the talkers. So the first mistake, don't be Barney, but be Superman. Going to the next part, which is while we present, the most important factor is for you to enjoy it. The problem when we don't be successful in public speaking, we always think about, I'm going to fail, they're gonna laugh at me, I'm so nervous about it. So for me, I just imagine that when we used to be little, we used to grab those brushes or pens and go in front of the mirror and think and sing and have fun with our friends. So for me, when I always go and give talks, I don't see it as I'm talking to these people, they're judging me. I just see it as an experience. I'm going there and have fun, as if I have a beautiful voice, beautiful as Rihanna, as Nathan's friends, and I'm going up stage and impressing all these people. But instead, I'm talking about something that matters to me. It can be something that I created. It can be a topic that I'm interested in, or it can be a topic that will make impact. So I really focus on the impact that I'm making. And every time I remember how much people I'll be impacting, you see me smiling while I'm talking. I'm being so excited and energetic because I really don't think that I'm actually going there, I'm gonna fail, or it's gonna be so nervous. I just take a deep breath, do my Superman pause, and imagine about the impact that I'm gonna do after I give the talk or I give the speech. So whenever you feel nervous while presenting, just imagine how much impact you're leaving on people, how much confidence you are transmitting to them just by these words that you're giving to them. Another thing is sometimes, even if you're the most confident speaker, you're gonna make a mistake on the stage. And once we do a mistake, we start stuttering more, we lose the track of ideas, and this happens very often. And the best recipe to deal with it is to laugh. I remember once I was saying a big number and like I missed it, like it was around 3 million and I said 3,000 or something. It was a huge difference. And it was a really important speech in the UN. So simply I just laughed about it. I'm like, all right, sorry. I just like break the ice with them because we're all humans, we all do mistakes. And sometimes while presenting, having this a lot of pressure on us, make us like misread something or just make a mistake. So once you do a mistake, it's okay, it's part of the ride. Just laugh about it and continue going. Just deliver the message that you're out there. Because actually, when you waste more time being nervous and trying to fix the issue in another way, people will put more attention on the fail. But when you laugh about it and continue, trust me, no one will even remember that you did a mistake inside the talk that you were giving. All right, and now for the eye contact. As Nathan mentioned, don't stare at one person. So let's say my best friend or my boyfriend is in the audience. So I'll be comfortable looking at them because I'll be feeling safe. They're not gonna laugh at me. They're not gonna make any bad facial expression. So for this, I always have a hack. When I'm in the audience and I can't actually like stare at one person because it will be bad point to me. What you look, it's very, very, very important. You look here in the middle. So when you look in the middle of the forehead of someone, they can't know if you're actually looking at them, and you won't actually be making eye contact. It will look as if you're making an eye contact for the person behind them, and you're actually making eye contact with them without them knowing. So it's a win-win situation. You gave them the act that you're making eye contact, but actually looking in the middle of the forehead. And when you actually now, if you have someone next to you, try to look at their forehead. It will look exactly as if you're looking at them. Especially in big audiences, no one will be able to notice that you're not actually making direct eye contact. So if you're someone who doesn't like to make eye contact directly with people while giving talks because of their facial expressions, just look in the center of their forehead. And this, trust me, we're gonna make you do wonders. You're not gonna see anyone, you're gonna notice whatever they're doing, and it will be really like confident for you and gonna push you forward. All right. I wish, okay, so my laptop actually is not working. This is why I'm using my phone. Usually I like to stand up for this part to show you the exact position. But is when you give a huge presentation, I think all of you before watch a TEDx talk. So if you notice in the TEDx, they have this circle where they stand in it. And if you notice, they don't move out of it. They move around it, but it's never outside this circle. Did you ever wonder why? So usually when you're giving a presentation, imagine someone on the stage moving back and forth, moving back and forth. No, I'm just doing it with my hand and I'm getting annoyed. So imagine someone talking about something so seriously and they're just walking back and forth on the stage. You're gonna lose focus. You're gonna find it confusing. At the same time, it's not a good look. So what you do, you need first to identify the stage. Where am I going to talk? Make sure there's no window behind you, there's no big portrait that have a lot of colors. For example, when we notice Nathan uses this white background with a little bit of details, so it's very nice to look at, but at the same time it doesn't actually take our attention away from him while he's talking. So make sure if you're doing a presentation, of course if you can, have a blank wall behind you like this, like white wall, like any wall that have a neutral color. And don't ever stand behind a window because people will be looking at the street, at the trees, whatever something is behind you, or at a very nice painting because people sometimes get bored and they want to find any way to enjoy their time. So always have something planned behind you. Then once you identify this position, you need to check your audience, the seating. So let's say my audience, they're a big room of people, like it's filled all of it. So what's the perfect position in which I'll be able to communicate with all of them, but at the same time not to move a lot? So if you have room filled with people, let's say like 100 or 300 individuals, you stand in the middle of the stage and you spread your legs like a V shape. So this is the like the whole what they call it, not the radius, the diameter of you moving around. So the distance I can move around, if I'm this, I can move only from this and from this. So I stand in the middle and I say, 10,000 people today died of poverty, and this is not acceptable. I take a pause for a second, then I walk slowly to the other position, which is on my right, let's say. Then I look to the audience there. Those people lost their life of a preventable cause. If someone is dying from hunger while other people are throwing their food away in the garbage, how can we live every day? How can we sleep at night? You again make this pause, then you walk back to the center, then you talk, then you walk back to the left. And this is how it goes. So what you do is you walk within this diameter that is not too long. It's literally just 4 steps to the right or 4 steps to the left. And this is it. Imagine you're in the TEDx in this red mat and you're just moving around it. This is all the distance that you get. And once you identify the perfect position, you'll be able to talk to the whole audience in all direction in a very efficient way and would always grab the attention, and they won't feel like confused or what they're talking about, where they are mocking too much. And you can go online and just watch the difference between people who prepare for their talks and the ones who don't prepare. People who don't prepare, they overuse everything. They overuse their facial expression, their body languages, the way they walk, everything, they overuse it, which actually take a lot of attention from the audience and they lose track eventually. Another point that I often identify when I used to give trainings before COVID, now I give them online, is when people give presentations, sometimes let's say there is increase of sale. So instead of making increase of sale, they say increase of sale. So there is no coordination between their body conferences. Why do we get bored? We got bored in conferences because they always speak with the same tonality all the time. So even sometimes if I'm interested in the topic and trust me, I'm someone who love to learn, I get bored. I need to get out because the speaker will be like, we did this experiment today, we have a lot of issues, blah blah blah, for the next 3 hours, and eventually I can't do it anymore. So the reason you always go up and down with your tonality is to make the audience feel engaged, to make them feel interested, and for them not to get bored. And of course there is way to utilize those tonality. If I'm talking about a big number, I'll be making a great emphasis about it. 10 million people every day. And if I'm saying something sad, I'll be decreasing my tonality, as Nathan said. If I'm talking about something energetic, I'll be showing it through my body language and the way that I'm talking. So, how to ace public speaking? Just enjoy it. Imagine you're going somewhere that you love. You're going there to impact people, to change life. And all of us are leaders in UPG because all of us are aiming to change. So every single time we go up there to talk, we are creating impact. And always have this in your head. I'm going there not to just talk, I'm going there to create impact. And this impact can you spreading knowledge, can you being impacting people to make actions. It can be anything. Next, always relate everything. The way that you talk, your tonality, the way they look, and how you move your body. All of them are one package, all in one. Once you master all of them, it will be very nice experience that you always would love to go on. So, the last advice for today, me and Nathan stress on, is to practice, practice, and finally practice. Thank you.